Hello everyone and welcome to Tales from the Tavern number 2. We are back and joined by this motley crew who are going to run through the next 45 minutes of Sea of Thieves goodness. So let's take an opportunity to introduce our guests. Let's start from the right, Joe.
So I'm Joe Neat, the executive producer.
I'm Mike Chapman and I'm a lead designer.
I'm John McFarlane, I'm community video manager.
I'm Emma Bridle, social media manager.
And I'm Ted Timmins, the PC design lead.
Cool, and I'd also like to take this opportunity for anyone who hasn't seen them yet to jump onto YouTube and watch the videos we've been putting out over the last month, focused around instruments, the ship, PC, and a general what is Sea of Thieves. So we're going to, after that, segue very vicariously into community content. So we've seen some amazing stuff over the last month or so since the last podcast the community had put together. Not least of which is someone getting a tattoo.
That was
Pretty incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
When I think you sent the mail around when you spotted
well,
that.
we rolled out at Gamescom, right? And just getting ready, prepared for Gamescom. And then I think it was Bobby sent the email to me. He was like, they've stepped it up a notch, basically, was the kind of summary of the email. And it was, click the link and it's, someone's actually got a tattoo of Sea of Thieves. Mm-hmm. So, it was like, shit just got real, basically. We now have to deliver a game and it has to be good, right?
And not an insignificant size of tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an entire peck,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Exactly.
Especially as we're walking around with like the fake tattoo sleeves, and to think like someone's
the
actually
only
now
people
got
that didn't
one.
want them at Gamescom, I'd hold them out and they'd just sort of point their own
Yeah.
tattoos and be like, no.
Yeah,
No.
but no, huge respect to
Very
the
much
member
so.
of
I
our
think
community
I
that
need to
got
send
that.
him something.
I think so,
I said,
yeah, for
we
sure.
love this. And he went, I just need some of that pirate swag.
Yeah, maybe send him the sleeves to go with it.
But it's funny because there has been a big thread on the forums, right, for quite a while about people discussing potentially getting tattoos and throwing out designs and ideas and stuff. But I just never really thought that this soon, that somebody that I don't think has played our game has decided, hey, like I'm going to get a tattoo about Sea of Thieves, right?
It's impressive.
That's quite. I don't know.
It's
the
commitment.
responsibility as well, isn't it? Like in terms of for us that it puts on our shoulders. I think. Like,
And to be fair, it looks really good.
It does.
It's
It's
actually
really
very.
good,
It's a
yeah.
very nice design.
It
So
is,
fair
it
play.
is. It's, was it Ricardo's?
It
concept
was.
artist?
It was,
his kind of design, I think. So yeah, he was super chuffed to see that. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
We've had people send us designs before and go, why don't you pick which tattoo I get? And I'm always like, I don't want that responsibility when you hate it. You pick and send us.
I think it's the same design on one of the T-shirts in the store, actually.
I think
Yeah,
so.
it's-
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
plug.
It's lovely.
Really good plug.
Yeah, good plug.
It wasn't deliberate.
Yeah.
If you'd like to buy Sea of
it's a
Thieves
re-
official merchandise,
It's a
SeaofThieves.com/
SeaofThievesShop.com.
I
Oh, is it SeaofThievesShop.com? There you go.
5% goes to
Find it.
Mike.
5% goes to Mike.
just wire it to my account. Thank you.
It's like the Mad Monkey. Is that the one from?
It is the Mad Monkey.
The Mad Monkey.
Yes, that was the name I came up with that Joe doesn't like. But
Yep.
Why?
the Mad Monkey.
Sorry, I just have a higher bar for quality. I think. That's
Or do you just like monkeys? Like a monkey would never be mad.
exactly right.
Yeah.
They're
I
just
think it's
excited.
unfair.
Yeah.
Feels
That is unfair.
tonally
That
right
is
with the right
unfair.
balance of humour. Yes,
It's just
that's
like-
cool.
What's wrong with monkeys being excited, Mike?
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's on brand to me.
In Scotland, it would be the mental monkey.
Is that right?
The mental monkey.
Bobby pronounced mental. Mental monkey.
That definitely doesn't feel serious.
Emma's also got down here a 3D printed coin.
Have you not seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
seen
thanks
it.
to the Aaron Lee on
Yeah.
the forums, he 3D printed. It's about this big, which is not good for people listening to the audio. It's a Sea of Thieves coin, and then he's painted it, and it's in a little velvet pouch, and I still have it on my desk. I'll have to. Give
Oh,
it
we
back.
got it at the studio.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw
Joe,
the
Joe
video
got
of
it
that.
somehow.
I saw
Did you
it
meet
was
him
at
at Comic Con?
No,
Oh, okay.
he gave it to his friend who was at Comic Con to bring to me at the end of the panel.
nice.
Basically, I then had to record a really awkward Snapchat message saying thank you. The first time I've ever engaged with Snapchat. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's amazing. Like again, people doing these things and everyone on the forums is kind of like, oh, can I have one? Can I have one? Right? Like it's super
Yeah.
cool. I just love the kind of excitement that we've got in our community about the game.
There
It's,
seems to be a
I'd love
ton-
to see it.
A ton of different
seen the pictures.
fan creations coming in and stuff
Yeah,
like this.
I'm just checking the reference. It is Finn Tara on the forums. His friend has handmade. She's a professional costume maker. She's handmade a pirate outfit, and it's beautiful. It's like so all sewn, fantastic detail. And I met them both at Gamescom, and she's a singer as well. So she's going to record a cover of "We Shall Sail Together" and shoot the music video. So I've sent her the instrumental track. So she's going to do a video of it in her handmade pirate outfit.
There you go.
I'm loving how much the community is engaging with this game that isn't out yet. It's like there's just this so much enthusiasm around like the game itself. It's so exciting. And out of yourselves, like, going around the table here, anyone kind of seen anything they want to kind of pick out and in regards of community stuff that you've seen over the last month or so?
I just love that there's these kind of community building exercises going on in the forum right now, where they're kind of asking each other 10 questions at a time. And I chipped in, and it was like kind of what's your favourite game characters of all time, or your favourite console, or your first console, and all that kind of stuff.
I started to write mine, and
yeah. But it's hard, but it's cool. And the hardest one for me, it was like, what game world would you like to live in? Because it was like, I couldn't think of a game world where I wouldn't die, basically, really quickly and really painfully. But I went for Grim Fandango because I'd be already dead, basically. and then it's nice and safe. But yeah, that was my choice, Grim Fandango, just because of all the great characters. Basically,
should we do a round table?
Yeah, totally right. But for me, it was Grim Fandango because I'd basically just be like listening to the awesome music and driving around with Glottis, right, and just racing around, and that'd be it. That'd be my.
I'd have to say Monkey Island. I'd be there every night drinking in the scum bar. Probably the guy swinging on the chandelier. That'd be me. It's got to be.
It has to be the Halo universe. Like, I feel like I'm well versed enough in the Halo universe.
Can I come over to stay for a weekend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And you're already a John.
Yes. So I just need the 117, and that's me.
It's fine. Yeah, that's good. Sorry, you've got to know Halo for that one.
Yeah.
Push the glasses up.
I'd say Fable.
Okay.
Fable 2.
Fable 2.
Fable 2, and I'm having a complete brain block because it's Friday afternoon, but the countryside, the town that has the monastery in it. Yeah, sometimes when I'm sad, I'll like go in and play that, and it's
the music.
Everything's swaying, and the light's beautiful, and
I think
without the
I
hob.
would say, I can't say 2, can I? Because this could be a fair. I'm just going to say Hyrule. Because that first bit where you go out on the field is just amazing.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. It was tough between that and Journey. Just because of how nice Journey is. But
that'd be an eclectic
I'll
choice.
stick with Hyrule. Yeah. Or Sea of Thieves.
He's the only one on brand.
just want to call out as well. I saw a thread of people discussing things to do to prepare for Sea of Thieves. Talking about kind of the movies to watch. I think there's even one about people like eating and drinking certain types of food.
We had when we did the fan visit contest, we had someone who made pirate recipes as his entry.
Oh, that is incredible.
I didn't know there were pirate. That's just ignorant. There are pirate recipes.
Yeah.
But none of them look particularly appetizing.
No. Maggoty ship's biscuits, no.
I've just remembered, actually, my favourite post was the one where they called you out, Mike, as being really annoyingly good at answering something without actually answering it. So we should look out for that. We should look out for that during the podcast today and see if Mike's giving satisfactory answers.
I don't
Asking
do
really
that.
specific questions.
I don't do that.
Yeah, bit of a politician.
No, I don't. No. Don't like politicians. No.
We'll be watching and listening.
Exactly.
Very carefully.
So,
Right.
It's like, maybe I do that, maybe I don't.
You be the judge.
There was a thread I really liked on the forums, which is about what people didn't want to see in the game. Like, it's so easy when you read anything really. You see a game announced, and you're like, "Oh, I hope it has this, and this." And it was really cool actually to sit down and go through things they didn't want.
Oh, totally.
You very rarely see that, and I think it was quite enlightening.
Oh, it was, and it was quite nice that some of quite a lot of them we were like, we've already kind
justified a lot of decisions.
Kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's cool.
That was cool.
But it does also give you hold on, maybe we shouldn't be considering this or whatever.
Yeah. And it wasn't even particularly negative either, because like sometimes those kind of threads can descend because you're talking about not wanting something. It was actually really positive about the things they didn't want. So yeah, that was cool to read.
They're positive about the things they don't want.
Yes.
Okay.
And that sounds weird.
Yeah.
It's just a good thread.
I got a cup of tea. It was a great thread.
Put my feet up.
We shared that around the design team.
Yeah.
We had a good read of that. It's very, very well put together.
Just a normal day at work for you then?
Yeah. Feet up. Well, I had to make my own cup of tea this time. Like, the design team are really, really good at taking it in turns to make around the tea.
Yeah.
None of us drink tea.
Every time you want to pitch a design
all the
idea.
exclusives right here.
There you go.
On the Sea of Thieves podcast.
Make a good cup of tea.
Exactly.
Well, they were having some dishwasher problems at the moment. So the cup of tea yesterday turned out red. It was like blood red tea.
What?
It mixed with the salt from the dishwasher.
Ted, This is an exclusive. Sorry to break it to you, but it's not actually the dishwasher. It's some hot chili sauce. I've had slipped into my tea.
Oh, really?
It's actually.
No.
I can't
Is
believe.
this Paul?
Of course
Well,
it's
yes.
Paul.
Wow.
Of course
So-
it's Paul
Wow.
Collins.
And I can't believe you believe the dishwasher story. It's,
Because last time I
It's
had a
hot
cup of
chili
tea,
sauce.
it was just salty. It was horrible and
Yeah.
salty. Wow. Okay, Paul. There's
So
guns
is that
here.
his
There's
new
guns
thing, attacking tea
It's
rather
just
than
trolling
laptops?
people in every possible way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But-
HR have that on record
Wow.
now.
They
I'm
do,
taking
yeah.
this tape when it's done.
there we go.
Straight
Video.
to
mine tasted pretty bad. And he also made kind of a backup, like, I'm sorry tea, but my palate was completely screwed after
I
the hot chili
avoided it.
sauce.
I didn't even take a sip. I just left it. It was like blood red, and I thought, I'm not going near
I
this.
saw you
Yeah,
spot that. I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay,
Let's get on with it.
Okay.
good.
Yeah,
After that-
moving
Yes, it's
swiftly on
moving swiftly on, I'm sure.
from the attempted murder that we've just discussed.
What if I was allergic? Shocking.
Oh, yeah, what if you were allergic? No, didn't.
Okay. So, moving on to more about what's been happening over the couple of this past month or so. Gamescom has been a big beat for us last week.
I think
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
all still a little dead.
Yeah, I think I was going to say we've just about recovered, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Ish.
Yeah.
all of
Gamescom
us.
flu.
Yeah,
I
that
still
was
can't remember
brutal.
words. I thought you two got ill, didn't you?
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted shortly
No,
after.
I
Big
avoided
time,
it.
yeah.
I'm just
Just
a bit
about back to normal.
zombie.
And the annoying thing is, I had the antibacterial hand wash like all
You were
week.
like the one person
Oh,
that was
I was
being
trying
diligent
so
about
hard to
avoiding
avoid
it.
it.
And antibacterial.
and
No,
just
it's-
for nothing. Just for nothing.
Convention flu.
Yeah.
Someone called it convention crud the other day. That was a
Ooh.
bit
Oh yeah,
gross.
that's gross.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting,
just flu.
sir.
Flu's fine.
So-
I'll let you take this one, Emma, because I believe you're personally.
Oh, involved in this
Involved in this
particular
one.
individual. Yeah. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But we met in real life. So Wergath, I hope that's pronouncing it right, he turned up for every single Twitch stream and helped me moderate because he could see that, I think on the first one we had 1,300 people watching and it was just me trying to answer all the questions at lightning speed. So he just started sort of looking what I was replying with and then jumping in and answering all the ones that I couldn't get to,
That's really cool.
which was really helpful. And at the end of it, I sent him a message. I was like, thank you so much. You've been really, really helpful. I want to send you some stuff when I get home. Just send me an email. And at the end of the email, he's like, I'm looking forward to meeting you on Sunday. And I was so tired at that point. I was like, I'm sorry. What? You're coming to Gamescom? So he came along on Sunday. I managed to sort of get him in on a session, took a picture with him, met him in real life, and he was absolutely wonderful.
Cool.
But yeah,
Cool, very
he
cool.
asked on Twitter using hashtag Tavern Talk, what, if anything, were you able to learn from Gamescom?
So yeah, so for me, the thing that I learnt the most anyway. I think obviously with the build we took to E3 of the game and the build we took to Gamescom pretty similar, and it was a great way to show off the kind of slice of our experience that's suitable for a show floor, suitable for that 15, 20-minute experience. But taken away from it, I think it's time to kind of retire that build, right? I don't think we're going to be going to any more shows with that build. I think it's now up to us to kind of get heads down and drive towards that early closed beta that is all of our focus and goal, right?
Yep.
And I think we've talked quite a lot about the game as well, and kind of we've set the vision out, we've set the kind of the promise of the game, and it's really, we want to be in a position where we're showing, not telling, from this point on, right? We want to start getting it into people's hands in that beta, and then start listening to them and start growing and evolving it. But that's the number one thing. I think we got great results out of Gamescom.
Yeah.
We got a load of buzz,
Yeah.
we got a load of awards, a load of great articles, loads of great feedback from everybody that played it on the show floor. But it's like, cool, I think great, we've done
It
that
works.
part of we've done that part of the
Yeah.
job, right? And it's now like, let's move on, let's get to that beta, and that's the next phase of the project. That's what we care about, right?
And
Those are some of the awesome. Oh, sorry. I was going to say that was just some of the awesome questions we get at Gamescom where people have played the game and they're like, "Oh, I absolutely love this. Can't wait to play it with my friends." But is there more to it? And you're like, "Well, yes, there will be."
Yes.
And you're just saying
Yeah.
just a very small piece, and there's much more to come.
Yeah, and we streamed for the first time.
We did
And we
stream for
found
the first
it
time.
works. It works for stream. We already knew, we're fairly confident of that. But we had so many YouTubers, streamers come up and say, this is going to be perfect. I play with a group. This is going to be so much fun. People turned up to every single stream, and it was people playing the same build for 15 minutes at a time and then playing again. But because everybody plays it differently, it wasn't repetitive, and people were still turning up and saying, I'm still enjoying this. I still want to watch.
Yeah. And it's for me actually that's a good kind of segue. It's the first time I've ever streamed a game, because I was obviously on the Twitch stream some of the time, like just making bad jokes and singing badly. But it was the first time I'd ever streamed, and I actually quite liked it. And I kind of now understand why people do it. I'm not going to now resign live on air and go and become a creator in the kind of YouTube community. But it was really good fun, right? Just to play a game and kind of have a laugh and crack some jokes and show the game off and stuff. Like, it was really enjoyable. So I totally get kind of why people do that, right? What's appealing about it? It's really fun.
We've done the Rare Replay ones here, and I sometimes have a hard job convincing people to come and do it, and they, oh, do I have to? I don't have to. And then at the end they're going, well, if you needed me again for another one, I guess we can do it. So yeah, it's good fun, and it goes by really quickly. You think, God, we've got to fill 2 hours, but it just flies by.
I really enjoyed reading people's stories as well from Gamescom, like checking out people's Reddits where they were talking about their experience on the show floor, and sometimes even coming back multiple times just to have additional stories that they could kind of bolt on. And when you're queuing for 2 or 3 hours, to keep doing that, to play for 15 minutes and to then tell more stories was
that happened a few
really
times. Cool. Kind of getting a crew together, playing with them, and then they're like showing you how to do it almost. Then like, have you played this before? Like, hey, this is
I had some groups
time.
going, we are experienced players. We don't need a guide.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
That's it. Nice
Go ahead.
15-minute break. Thanks
It was.
Go and get a beer.
And we had, what, like 30 booths?
30 booths.
30
We did, like
playable
twice
booths,
the amount of E3. Just because E3 we had 4-hour queues, so we thought, hey, let's drop it down to 2-hour
Just 2
queues for
hours.
Gamescom.
People brought chairs. It was fun.
Yeah. So but yeah, amazing to see so many people playing at a time, and it was great to see so many people more being able to get through than at E3. So
and I think it's great for the team to be able to get out there and they see that. Like, it's not like it's just Xbox booth helpers that are out there who, or, like,
we took about 17 people across, and I think normally when you go to these kind of shows, generally it's kind of producers and designers that generally get to go and do that kind of stuff, right? Because you're doing the interviews, you know the most about the game. But with this game, we're able to get so many people across all the different disciplines in the team, and especially at Gamescom, we took kind of artists and animators and community members and video team and everyone. And I love being able to get that kind of buzz for people because I think on your team, when you go to a show like that, people think, they see all the photos of you in the bar and having a laugh, right? And they think, oh, it's just a jolly, right? And but then when you actually come along and you're standing there for like 12 to 14 hours, saying the same thing repeatedly and really kind of, but it's still exciting, it's still fun, but it's exhausting, right? I think it's great to kind of get that buzz come back to the team across all the different areas. So I was really pleased with that for Gamescom especially. We really got to kind of spread the fun, spread the joy, because it's as fun for us to go to those shows and see people playing the game, right? As it is for the people that are playing.
And that is the hardest show on the calendar,
Oh,
pretty
damn,
much.
yeah.
Like
It's-
6 days, 12 to 15 hours.
Oh, it's brutal.
And then you get straight on the plane.
And then you
home
come back with
in a mess.
Gamescom flu.
Yeah.
Yay!
It's but it's great.
But meeting the
So-
fans, there's no bigger buzz than
It was
actually meeting
nice
them
for me
in
because I
person.
got to meet people that I speak to on the accounts
Yeah.
in real life,
Yeah.
and it was really nice. Particularly Reese, who works on he does modding for the Xbox One subreddit and does the podcast, and we'd been speaking a bit, and he came by in a full pirate outfit and his girlfriend too, and it was really nice having spoken for quite a long time to actually meet him in person.
And that's the kind of big difference about Gamescom and E3, though, is that it is more about the consumers at Gamescom. So you get to kind of, like, it's slightly different when you've got the press in there, and there's definitely a bit more tension when you've got the press in there than Gamescom.
I think with real, like with kind of real players, real consumers that are just coming in and they've got no agenda, right? Like they're just either going to enjoy it or not. Whereas is a journalist really going to tell you that your game sucks? I'm not sure. Like, but maybe a consumer might, right? They've got no reason not to. And it's kind of cool to get the same reaction that you get from the press to the consumers playing, and it's like everyone just still has a great time with that build, right? Even though it's the second time you've shown up with it, it's the first time people have got to play it and actually experience it.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. I think what can be better, like you're working on a game and you're seeing people laughing at the top of their voice playing it. There's nothing better than that. And even though it is grueling and the days are long, I think when you often get back from one of these shows, the first thing you want to do is get back into the office and continue making the game, because you just bring all this adrenaline and buzz and inspiration from people who've played the game. And when it's real players, I mean that's the ultimate judge of their experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
And some of the things we talked about at Gamescom to the press and on some of the shows, can we go into those a little bit and just kind of recap them on here? Like
PC.
Well, obviously we talked to PC a lot, right? Like, you want to?
So we took the 4K machine. running at 60 frames a second. Although when we got there, we discovered that the TV was only 50 frames a second, so it's not very often you get limited by the telly rather than the hardware itself. But it was a real buzz, the behind closed doors. So yeah, just for anyone who doesn't know, behind closed doors initially was myself and Joe, and then when the walls felt like they were starting to close in, Mike very kindly tagged in, and we did a bit of a rota. But it's really positive sessions came out of that, I think.
Oh, totally, yeah. And it's really fun because we connect that machine to the show floor, right?
Yeah.
So you've got this kind of nice 4K PC that's in this behind closed doors area, probably about, I don't know, a kilometre away from where the...
How long was the cable?
About a kilometre.
I thought you had a real Jeremy Clarkson moment where you were telling everyone it's the longest cable
in the world.
Yeah. In every single
Indeed,
PC.
yes. But the fact that we're connected to it, right, in the behind closed doors, and it goes all the way to the show floor, and so every time we don't know what's quite going to happen because there's players out there doing whatever they want, right? And there were so many funny moments where you're just kind of talking and presenting, and then just a ship sails past and just starts nailing you guys with cannons and balls and stuff. But I remember the first time we did that at E3, and some of the people on the booth didn't know that we were going to be doing this, and so they're in a game with 3 ships, and because they know that's how many there are in that session on the show floor, and suddenly a 4th ship just sails through the middle, and they're like, "What's going on?" Like, has someone accessed the debug controls, and they've managed to spawn another ship and everything, and so they start like using debug to destroy our ship. So I'm in behind closed doors just presenting the game, and then my ship just disappears. So we had to spread the message that actually no, we are actually doing this, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah, joy to tell them as well. Like you kind of open, we talk about what Sea of Thieves was, we talk about shared world and what it meant, and then you could say, well, this is actually connected to like the shared world kind of out there on the show floor, and every ship you see is people who've queued up today at Gamescom in Hall 8, and like that, they'd be like, wow.
Yeah. It really interrupted some
cool.
of our playthroughs. Like just when you start to get into a rhythm over the first few hours, and then suddenly, something happens in the game world, and you spend 5 minutes. Like we actually had quite a few sessions actually where almost like the journalists in the room were like cheering for us because we were trying to like ram into another ship
or jump onto it,
and like they just don't care what we have to say. They just want to see like what's gonna happen on the screen, which is nice because it's nice to show, not tell. For sure.
And that's a lovely segue into my
I genuinely didn't know that was a segue.
Thank you. I'd like to let's see what everyone is working on at the moment, so we can go around the table and.
Well, I think it's important for me anyway to talk about some of the stuff that we're working on, the kind of priorities for the team at the moment, right? Because obviously, number one goal, as we've talked about, is that beta, and it's very much that kind of core loop of an experience that we want to land of a bunch of friends on an adventure together, being able to go on a quest. Get that treasure chest and kind of return that to port. Really, that's the kind of the core experience that we're trying to work on. And so, with that in mind, quests is what we're working on right now, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of people working on that stuff right now, looking at the maps and everything, and that's our priority right now. Is that adding that into the experience that people have already kind of seen, right? And we've got a bunch of other fun little things. We've obviously the blunderbuss has kind of been done, but we're working on the security of the blunderbuss, which is an interesting kind of thing, right? In terms of and I'm going to try and speak to this without being a programmer, so bear with me. But we obviously want everything to be secure because we're a network game, we're a multiplayer game, and when the way stuff kind of travels across the network and the way things are, we want every kind of weapon that we have to be secure in terms of like we don't want people to be able to hack it and put aimbots on it or unlimited ammo, all that kind of stuff. So we're doing a lot of security work right now just around that, which is kind of not that interesting, but early on in the project, it's super cool that we're actually taking that seriously, right? And we're not going to be, we're trying desperately not to make it so that we're bitten on the arse, like 6 months down the line when you get into people's hands and someone just
players are feeling
things.
cheated and feeling like they've come off worse off because it's not their fault. That's absolutely what we do not want. That's why the work is critical. Yeah.
So that's so a lot of work going on this because we've got the value of the blunderbuss, right? We've got it, it's all there, but we want to make sure that it's secure and the less glamorous work, but not any less important, right? So,
and I think like when we turn that back on again, it will be when we've got something vulnerable to loss across crews. So I mean that's why it goes hand in hand with the quest work as well. So kind of the idea of on top of the experience we've already shown, the ability to kind of go in the world with a goal, a defined goal, and the whole priority trope of following a map and getting to a chest and digging up a chest and that chest being able to change hands in the world emergently is kind of
Yeah,
a
at that
big
point you
focus.
need to be able to defend it, right?
Exactly.
Or you need to be an aggressor and be able to steal it, right? And so that's when the blunderbuss comes in. We're calling them feature bundles, I think, aren't we? That's the latest terminology that we've landed on. It'll probably change. But it's bundles of features that when you put them in together, they grow the experience, right, as a whole. And it's not just because you just put the blunderbuss in. It's like, oh, cool, that's fun. But it's like, what's the purpose?
It's not really a new way to play. It's just another mechanic to use. Where if you put the blunderbuss in and you put the chests in, you can start to imagine all the kind of scenarios that can play out when you've got people boarding ships, using their blunderbuss, forcibly taking treasure from people. That's kind of the next big game changer for us.
Yeah, I just want to leave a treasure chest on the middle of a beach, just on a deserted beach, just there, and then just kind of go and hide in the undergrowth and just wait, just troll everybody that appears.
I want like sticking a coin to the
pavement. Basically sticking a coin to the pavement, and that's our version of that in the game. Just kill them and then just
That'd
move,
be awesome.
and then just move and hide somewhere else and do it again.
Yeah, awesome.
That's my goal. There's no achievement, but there's nothing there for it. But but it will just be fun. That's what I want to do. That's my
Captain Troll.
Yeah,
Be the
there you
pirate
go.
you want.
I'm
You're the troll, Ted. We've established this.
Yeah, but if I can pass my
Ted's got
reputation on,
reputation.
then that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
I don't want the reputation to last.
Without the blunderbuss at the moment, when people wanted to intimidate, they'd come aboard of the ship and they'd just get out their plank of wood and jump up and down in front of you. Which doesn't really do much in terms of intimidation.
But I think that leads nicely onto our next week. You're doing a really good job at this.
Can I talk about what I'm working on? What
Oh,
are
Of
You
course
looked
you
at Ted
can,
and me
Well,
Yeah,
and
like-
you.
Yeah, what are you working on, Jeff?
this currently, which is. We're working. Like, the video team and community team together are working on this series of videos, short haul and inside story at the moment, and we plan to continue that and keep up the kind of pace of doing that, at least for the next few months.
Got some nice stuff coming up.
Get some nice stuff coming up. Talking to different disciplines.
I think you and I are the secretive ones. We're working on some fun stuff, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, but I think it's important that we do have regular releases of content. In terms of same with the game, right? Like it's regular reasons to return and regular things to be engaged by and to watch and to learn more about the game and everything.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys are so focused on, right? And constantly pushing us to make sure that we're there and we're there for interviews available for it, that we don't ask for a reshoot and all that kind of good stuff, right? So that we're not pushing the schedule too tight. But hey, that's what we should be doing, right? Because our community is the most important, so we have to get that regular.
You have to give them things.
Yeah,
and some of the stuff people may have seen, but we're always trying to drop in those little nuggets of information that especially the hardcore audience out there can pick up on, and really that engaged audience can really pick up on.
Well, it was the video released yesterday, right? The sales one.
Aboard the ship.
The ship.
The board the ship. Yeah,
Starring John Oliver.
Starring John Oliver. Yeah.
Starring Mike
Yeah.
Chapman. Just
He
to
was.
confirm.
Yeah.
You got some fans in the comments.
Yeah. Sorry.
You got some fans in the YouTube comments.
Have you?
Was he John Oliver related? Was
No, you related.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's never happened to me before.
There you go.
That's really special. Whoever you are, thank you very much.
But when I watched that video to review, yesterday before we reviewed it, I saw a new feature that I didn't even realise was in the video. So yeah,
But he's going to mysterious.
I'm going to mysteriously let other people
go and watch it again.
Yeah.
Watch it
I think I know
again.
what you
But
mean.
It's
go
only
on,
60
then, Ted.
seconds.
You've been itching to tell us what you're working
What
on.
are you doing?
It's the most exciting
Other than drinking
role
weird tea.
in the world.
Ooh.
The min spec machine.
There you go, min spec.
How
It's
exciting!
very
mince
cool.
pie machine.
Maybe in a few months for the Christmas party.
Bit early. Okay.
But no, we did talk about the 4K, and that's very cool. And I love my desk and my ultra widescreen monitor. That Craig, and every time he sees it, I think he wonders why it's not on his desk. It's head of studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really important for us to just try to get the game to a level where as many people as possible can play it on the PC. And we've set our engineers the task of how low can you go. And they're pushing as low as they can. Seriously, you want
Limbo contest.
I don't know.
Limbo contest.
There's a
Maybe
GIF
not
in
how
there
low you
somewhere.
can go, but
Please continue. I'm sorry.
yeah,
to
it's all right. Put me off my rhythm. This didn't happen in behind closed doors. You see, no one questioned it.
Sorry, please continue.
But no, in all seriousness, we want obviously as many people to play as possible. So while also still making sure that Ryan, our art director, is happy with the visuals. So we had a positive review a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
And other than that, just prototyping goodness with keyboard and mouse controls, inventories. Because we want a UI that is familiar across both PC and Xbox, but still is sort of aimed at both user bases at the same time. Because of course, with Xbox Play Anywhere, we know that there's a higher chance that people will be just swapping between them.
Yeah. Well, it was like in the daily catch-up that we have every morning with kind of the key people working on all the in-flight stuff. There's guys looking at the option menus,
Yeah,
right? And they're just talking about the differences of pressing escape on PC versus just having that same menu on controller.
Yeah.
And there's actually, you have to take into account those different things,
Yeah.
even just for an option menu that's up
Yeah.
there, because you might want escape to exit it, but not escape to close it. And it's just, it's kind of funny, all those that you're having to solve at this stage.
Lots of
right?
playtesting, which is good.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of PC gamers in the studio. In fact, even just over breakfast this morning, like a whole bunch of the audio team were like, by the way, we're all PC gamers here, so when you need our advice, do let us know. And it was like, okay, cool, because the PC community is the most vocal, right?
Yep.
So the fact that we have those vocal people in the studio is a blessing. Maybe a curse at some point.
So, do you want to have a chat about what you're working on, or are you?
No, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
I don't want to. If I say they won't come and
Tune in
look at
next
Twitter
month for
and Facebook, you've just got to keep an eye on social channels.
Yeah, can you just list off everything you're going to tweet for the next 2 weeks? And
No, I am starting to think about exciting holiday things.
okay.
by holiday, you mean going on holiday, or do you mean holiday?
Oh no,
Christmas?
it's in the holiday period,
Oh, right, okay.
the festive season.
Festive
Oh,
season.
You're thinking of Christmas
yeah, because
already.
we call that Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
I'm behind.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's holiday.
That's really depressing.
Yeah, it's depressing.
What? That I'm having to think about it already.
Well, it's just like, it's summer, isn't it?
I had most of it done by this time last year.
It did make me laugh that one of the hottest days of the year, we announced the Christmas party.
Yeah.
Save the day.
We've had that booked since February.
Yeah, that's great.
No, we're on it.
It's
It's
cool.
not, it's not in Birmingham though, so it's not. I can't stumble home drunk and then snap my key in the door as I usually do. Yeah, it's all the way over in Leamington. That's really. I'm really upset.
Might never see you. Might never see you again.
Exactly. Like, how am I going to stumble home all the way from Leamington to Birmingham?
It's a long stumble. A really long
I think
stumble.
we'll have to fit you with a tracker. Or just a bell.
Yeah, a bell.
Tinkle, tinkle, where he is in that ditch. Get it.
I think everyone needs trackers. Just tracking down for meetings.
Yeah.
Oh,
Talked about fitting one to Adam for ages.
Well, the
I'll put mine just
I
on a
wouldn't want to
mannequin.
know where he goes, to be honest.
we this kind of talks to what we were talking about earlier in terms of what we were working on with the game. But we had a question from Drakenwiener.
Sorry,
On
every
the
time.
What is Sea of Thieves video on YouTube. And it says, can you kill other players or just their ships? Yep, caps.
Caps.
Well, Mike, I think you
Well,
should.
You
are.
Can you
to
kill
answer the
players?
question.
Design guru.
You can
You are
100%
games
kill
master.
players. It's not, you're not limited to just killing the ships. You can kill the players.
But can you kill players?
You can kill them. You can really kill them. You can. And the second part, kind of repairing the ship. Yes, I mean you.
For those who are wondering what's going on, by the way, that's because it was in capitals. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yes,
Oh,
that's right.
just
yeah.
In the
context.
post, yeah, just
yeah.
for context.
Yeah.
Because
It's
I don't
just
think
John.
anybody that's listening or watching would understand.
I'm just trying to
doing-
read
just
it as
doing my bit.
He's
genuinely as it's
capturing
written,
the
but, yeah.
essence of the YouTube comment.
So I think like the comment speaks to, question speaks to kind of sandbox and what people expect in the sandbox experience, and we are taking. Obviously, there are sandbox elements to the game.
Speaking to the mic.
Oh, sorry. There are sandbox elements to the game, but we also talked earlier about giving players defined goals as well. So it's not just completely kind of making your own fun. You can also follow treasure maps on quests, and there's also quests that we prototype that we're not talking about yet. But there's a mix of sandbox elements and defined goals to go and achieve.
Cool. Talking about the community asking about single player and that idea of like story driven games.
Yep.
And we're not that really, are we? Want players to create their own stories. It's all about
You make the stories. You
Yeah.
are the story.
Yeah, and I think just to the story point though, I think like our world will be kind of rich with lore, right? And it's for people that love to explore a world and feel that there is a kind of almost a backstory to it, right? There's that will be there for players.
Very much so. I think when we show like some of the materials that we've shown, some materials are tweeted, like the concept art and screenshots from the world, where we show these beautiful islands, and the way we talk about Sea of Thieves, we talk about adventures. I think the idea of escaping into this world and having adventures is very appealing to a lot of people, even to people who haven't played multiplayer games before. So
I don't play that sort of game, but I like this one.
Yeah, and we don't want everyone's story to be the same,
No,
right? Like
no.
that's the thing. Like we want people to, if they want to have goals to go after, great. There are quests to go and achieve. There are things to kind of, to upgrade and to earn and stuff. That will totally be in, in the game. But we want everyone's stories to be unique. I think that's the special thing about it. We don't want everyone to have the same experience, play it for 30 hours, and then be like, yeah, I'm done. It's like, every time you come in, you should have a different, unique story. It should be memorable. You should want to post it on Reddit or record a video or just chat to your friends about it. And we have those all the time, don't we? When we're playing the game, when we're playing the prototype,
all the time,
and like that's what the story is for us.
Yeah,
Right?
it's incredibly emergent. Like every single session, there's something that falls out of it, and it's not all like Of course, there's the deliberate emergent stuff that we have, but there's also incidental emergence where.
It's Ted's way of saying when I troll people.
When I use features to troll. No, but two separate features have been made. But yet, no one could have predicted how they work together and in tandem in a particular scenario.
Yeah, seeing scenarios we haven't designed.
Yeah.
I mean, like your example of leaving a chest on the beach to lie in wait for players.
Perfect.
But the thing is, I haven't even done that yet.
No.
but because I know how the chest works and that I could do that, I want to try it.
Yeah,
It's
see what
very,
happens.
was it Elmer Fudd? Is it Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
This is all I'm thinking of when Joe's saying
Elmer Fudd and
with his
Bugs Bunny.
blunderbuss.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's it. So am I
Joe
Elmer
wants to be
Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, basically.
No, that's a fascinating thing, though. I mean, the way I like to describe it is we're creating this world for players, rich with lore. It's got this sense of history, the sense of kind of everything's got a sense of place, and then we're giving you the tools that you can use, and we're giving you a series of goals, and the way you use them, the goals that you choose, the role you choose, things you want to accomplish in the world, that you've got the freedom to choose. And I think from that comes this emergent gameplay, which makes the game feel dynamic and fresh and different each time. And I think that's what's at the heart of Sea of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And talking about those features, singly, we've seen a lot on the Twitch broadcast, and then of course we released our first short haul video around instruments, and instruments seem to have gone really big in terms of our audience. Have really enjoyed everything
They're fun.
from it.
It's great.
And they're really fun.
I mean, E3 and Gamescom, the reception for them was fantastic, and that's what we hoped, wasn't it? Was to show off features like that which demonstrate the tone, the fact that we weren't dry, realistic pirates, that we were, the classic kind of humour in there that suits this pirate fantasy world. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, so we've got a comment there from Natsu on YouTube who says, "Does this mean there isn't music in game when you're out and about? Because it would appear out and about." I knew you were going to say that.
It's fair game.
When you're out and about, because it would interfere with players' tunes.
That is a great question. So I think, right from the start of development, a philosophy we kind of clung to was the idea of providing players a wide range of emotion. So while you're playing Sea of Thieves, we want you to feel different emotions based on the situations you find yourself in. So I think it was Dr. Robert Plutchek, which is the wheel of emotions is an approach. So you can see kind of the opposites on there, kind of excitement and anger and anticipation and all these different emotions. And we would play early play tests and talk about.
We had to stick a post-it at the end, didn't we? We go, at this, I felt sad and angry and scared.
Well, it's but I think just wind back a little bit. Like right at the start, we wanted a wide range of emotions, or at least this was kind of what Greg and yourself said to me, and I was like, "It's just sounds a bit like just a bit of a design."
Those are the games I remember,
isn't it? Right?
Those are the games that I go back to.
Yeah,
the ones where you feel something.
Sounds great, but really, are we going to do that with my cynical hat on? But then, Greg went and searched the kind of the human emotions, right, and found this human wheel, and like you say, Dr. Robert Plutchek pinned it out and stuck it on the wall. This massive wheel of emotions, right, of just all the different emotions people can feel, from serenity to anger to grief to happiness, all this stuff, and then to actually start, we started putting different features and the different uses that a feature could have, right? We'd pin them over there and see how many different emotions you could get out of a single thing. But then, the play tests was amazing, like genuinely to have a play test together and get everyone to come and just write your story on a post-it and stick it on this wheel. I've still got all the photos of loads and loads of different play sessions we've done. Yeah, and to see the spread across all of the different places was great, because it's like, we actually are delivering on that. But there were times when you'd make changes to the build and then you'd do play tests and suddenly they'd be in the more red emotions, right? That anger, the frustration, all this stuff, and you'd made it too combat focused, or you'd made it this, or you'd made the balance of loss too hard. So it was actually a really good tool for us, despite me ridiculing it at the start. But no, it actually really was. Like, it's super powerful.
Yeah, so, I mean, and that feeds really nicely into instruments, where we've made a conscious choice not to be overbearing with our use of music, because music is obviously a great way to tell players what they should be feeling. And I think if you're doing that, you're kind of that doesn't support kind of all the emergent scenarios that can happen in the game. But what we are going to do is kind of use music in the right places to accentuate what we know players will already be feeling. So if you were to visit a certain island, or you were to, sorry, John, I'm not,
I was trying to be really subtle. You always pick it out.
I feel like I want to tell you rather than tell the mic, but yeah. So using music in the right places. So maybe you've just got on your ship, you've recovered the ship, or you've just completed a quest. We know players are going to be feeling certain ways at those points. So using music selectively to accentuate what they're already feeling is our approach, rather than being overbearing and telling them the story they should be having. Yeah. That's up to them with the freedom they have in the game.
That's amazing.
I love that it also prompts singing. That was what came out of Gamescom for me. Was people singing pirate songs.
Or I thought Ted was going to say that he sings Celine Dion.
Some people
chose
to sing Celine Dion. But there was a.
Do you want to give us a little,
just a little
rendition?
One line.
I've been singing it in the bar, and everyone's getting.
Is it like
every night in my dreams?
Every night in my dreams.
I see you. Yeah,
he's just sort of saying,
it sounded like you were singing it like in some kind of like
Alan Partridge, wasn't it?
Trying to be politically correct.
It was just like this kind of like and I'm not sure.
I don't have any adrenaline left from last week. Like my whole month's worth of adrenaline went in a week. But
he's just bouncing up.
I must also say, just as like listening into the answer there, I actually think Mike started to answer that question, but then was interrupted.
Yep.
So maybe this is why Mike never gets to answer the questions. It's because unfortunately he never gets to finish.
Do you know when I was
someone commented on that on social? Yeah, someone left a comment on somewhere. It was like, Mike never gets to finish his questions.
Brilliant.
Did someone really say that?
Someone said that. I can't remember where. But
you know when I tagged you guys at BC? You know when I was like, actually, guys.
Someone turn his microphone off.
You know, you want to do it together. I was like, I'm just going to do them on my own because I get to say what I want to say.
Yeah. And he went off the rails, right?
And people seem to really like it.
They did. Mike got praised for his passion behind closed doors.
Passion.
So there you go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You wouldn't say it.
Great previews.
Wow.
Great previews, Mike.
Yeah.
He did literally. I got an email from a journalist saying, like, "You were the most passionate behind closed doors developer that I spent time with."
Yeah, I had a tear in my eye as
at the end of each playthrough. Is that why you had to tag us back out again because you had to go cry?
It is.
You had
to get it out of my system.
We were talking. Oh, hang on.
You're going to go for it because I can't speak.
We've thrown you off now.
You can't speak what?
Leet.
What?
When it's written with numbers.
Words.
Oh, there's a name for it?
Yeah, it's Leet speak, is it not? Is that not what it's called? Your PC, yeah.
It's
just one number, but it's...
Okay, so I'm assuming, that's Mercator with a 4.
Yeah.
Which
from
Reddit.
Do I
look disapprovingly at, by the way. Is it that one?
So, Mercator of Reddit says, "Ahoy mateys, I just saw the video about instruments and I think it's a really nice feature. But from the video, it's not 100% clear how playing them is actually going to work in-game. Will we have a set list of songs we can choose from, or can we play every note ourselves?"
Well, there'll be a whole range of songs in the game.
Well, we've demoed Ride of the Valkyries.
Yeah, I mean...
Shanties, Mike. Shanties.
Is that, what did I just say?
You said songs.
Did I?
Shanties, which can be spelled
in
different ways.
That might be the first slip. I'm sorry. No, I mean...
Should have interrupted in sooner, shouldn't I?
That was like 10 seconds in. Proving my point. But it's great. No, Mike, honestly, this is why you're building a fan base of your own. Is because you've got good cop and bad.
Exactly.
That one I'll do. Stop.
Right.
Stop.
I'm joining the Mike Chapman fan base. Sorry.
Mike.
What was the question?
Will there be a list of shanties they could play on their instruments?
Or can they play the notes themselves?
Yes. So again, going back to what Joe handily described about Dr. Robert Plutchek's Wheel of Emotions, so I'll just segue into Joe's answer there.
Okay.
So having a range of shanties that fulfill a different range of player emotion. So let me just explain it.
I'm just going to talk to you.
Let me just explain it. So imagine playing kind of like a dark foreboding tune as you head into a bay at night on your ship, or playing a jolly tune just after you find a quest. It's a way for players to express themselves through the instruments in the game. And the way we've kind of explained it working, that people have seen in the short haul video, where one person can know a song that someone else doesn't know, play the lead, and then if you don't know the song, you can still join in with a kind of backup chords. That's kind of the magic of how that feature works. But then how players choose to, well, what shanties players choose to play is all part of the fun of the game. So kind of switching up the emotion of the scenario they're in.
And if you've been... So British, you. And if you've been to shows, you may have had a preview of some of them from our pirate band. Not saying anymore.
Oh.
Cryptic
Whispering
as well.
Remaining mysterious.
Yeah. And I mean, the tech behind that is infinitely more complex than it seems, because you can join in at any point, and because you can just keep adding instruments to that and keep building that song up and up in layers. And it's
they play the different parts of the song, right? Whatever they're called. Parts.
No, but I remember us kind of setting Robin Beeland, head of music, kind of the task of writing songs around different emotions, and then he created this smorgasbord of different songs, and then that was handed out to the team, and they could write their own lyrics. I mean, remember that? That was John wrote something.
John wrote the
very
rudest lyrics, and then sang them as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
Did you sing
sang
them?
them,
I wasn't on team at that point. I just heard about it in the corridors.
Myself and John McMurder recorded them, and it's still on my computer.
You've got a video of me singing one, haven't you, somewhere? That I'm dreading researching.
Laying down a track.
Laying down a track.
Yeah. with Joe just in the background. Can I just add one more verse?
Very very Kanye, Taylor Swift.
A duet where only you sing.
Yeah.
Joe's like, I'll take it to the bridge.
Amazing. Oh, brilliant. Just don't ever get me to sing to Celine Dion, because that is not happening at like any point in this.
Sounds like a Christmas party.
No, I'm not here for it.
He's not here.
Got out of that one.
So next up is a question saying, can we expect to see things from all over, or will this be primarily a Caribbean setting?
It's an original world, so it's a pirate fantasy world that we are. So imagine all the creative license that we've got with that. So it's not set in the real world; it's set in a pirate fantasy world. So no.
And we've gone to some extreme extent as well of creating our own lore around the whole world, haven't we?
That's what it's its own world.
Yeah, it's a crafted world, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's crafted by us, by our designers, by our artists, so that the layout of it and how it feels and how each island looks from a distance, from above, when you're looking at a map, and when you're running around on it, and when your ships are interacting with it, all of those things are really important from a gameplay perspective as well, right?
Very, very much a deliberate choice of where we've set out to design specific islands that could showcase or potentially be the home for certain kinds of scenarios that players find themselves in. So, for example, an island where you could hide your ship inside a cave and hide your ship from players in the world, or imagine an island where you've got an archway and you could park your ship underneath it and drop treasure on board. All these kind of cool scenarios that we want to craft into the islands. And the same with the world layout. So having a world layout that's fixed means that players over time can memorize this, where everything is in this vast world, and like a real sailor, they build up their knowledge of that world. That's something that we wanted to get in right from the start.
I've actually experienced exactly that, which is when I joined. I was in a play session, and I can't remember where the quest was going, but shout out an island name that I might have been to.
Thieves Haven.
So Thieves Haven. That came up. Yeah, there you go. Once again, proven.
You can do a monologue at the end.
Sorry,
and we'll be quiet.
He was going to say that.
I wasn't actually. I was going to say Smuggler's Bay.
Okay, so Smuggler's Bay.
Yeah. Thanks for running with that, Ted.
So
Thieves Haven. What's that? We never designed that island.
So Smuggler's Bay came up as where we needed to go. Now I'm running down to the world map on the ship. I'm frantically trying to find it. But I think Greg and Andy were on my crew. They'd already cast off, knew exactly the direction we needed to go in, and it was a nice example for me as a new player of the difference between that I could learn something from them as people who had been playing for hundreds of hours, or maybe even less than that.
Yeah.
But for me as the new user, I felt welcomed into
looking after you.
That knowing that a day would come where I wouldn't need to look at the map.
Yeah, knowing there's an outpost kind of southeast of a certain island or rock structure, and then knowing that maybe that other ship on the horizon's heading to an outpost, or maybe they're heading towards that island. You build up this knowledge over time. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's cool. And like talking about just being visual, I think like that runs throughout the entire game, doesn't it? About this idea of we don't want a cluttered HUD on our front main screen.
No, our goal was always to immerse players in the world, to not only be kind of intuitive with the mechanics, but also make it so you're not kind of playing the UI, you're not playing the HUD, you're actually you feel like you're there in the world and you're immersed in it. So like as you say, like making things visual ensures that it can be part of someone's story. And a great example of that is the chest that we're working on at the moment, where the chest is something that's vulnerable to loss. It can change hands emergently in the world. It's just a chest. Nobody owns it. And you can dig it up, you can take it back to your ship, and then you can carry it back to an outpost to sell the stuff inside. And because it's visual, it's always this physical thing in the world. It can become the part of someone's emergent story. So imagine sailing past another island and seeing another crew on the beach all carrying chests, or Joe's example of hiding the chest on a beach and laying in wait. There's all these kind of cool encounters that can happen by making it physical and visual in the world.
You particularly like that one, don't you? Like you're going to steal that idea and go and do it, aren't you?
I think I'm going to use that in every future podcast. But like in all seriousness, there'll be things we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be cool too. When we do get it into players' hands as part of that beta, we are like in no doubt we're going to see things that we haven't designed, that we haven't planned for, and that's going to be the fascinating part.
It's great when you're sinking. I never thought I'd say that. It's great when you're sinking, but when you are sinking and you're thinking, where have I left the chest? Because there's so many different places you could put it. Crow's nest, back of the ship, but you obviously don't have too long to get to it before it goes under, and you see everyone running around going, where the hell is the
where did I put it? You've got to remember, right? You're like, was it up there this time or down there?
Yeah.
And talking about syncing, like it's not just visual, it's audio as well. Like hearing the audio down below, like you go like, guys, stop and listen. I think we've got a leak and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had that at Gamescom. Going, I can hear it filling up. We go, no, we're fine, but you can hear it rising.
No, I think it's so as creators, it's so tempting to give the player like too much feedback. Like if you've got audio and visual feedback, do you really need a cluttered HUD? I think if you're really smart on how you use audio, make sure players have got in-world immersive feedback, you can kind of step back in the HUD. And I think that so far it seems like people are resonating with the build that we've shown. So that's awesome.
It's amazing. And well, we're going to round up this crazy party.
John's been looking like he's falling asleep for ages behind the camera. Hi, John.
It's pretty hot in here.
He's also given me the round it up. Motion, yeah. So we're going to round it up. Unless there's anything anyone wants to add as a final reminder.
Thank you to the community.
Isn't that your job to remind people?
Well, no, I will do my thing in case anyone was. What I'm not going to do is interrupt anyone.
This is going to be.
Continue this off camera.
This is going to be a constant theme.
It's a bank holiday weekend, right?
It's a bank holiday
Shouldn't
weekend.
forget that.
That's it. I'm going to Edinburgh for the festival. That's going to be very nice. The final weekend of the Edinburgh Festival. Yeah.
I'm packing up my house.
Party all weekend in Manchester Pride.
There you go.
Nice.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm going to Guildford.
Yay!
Mike?
It's my daughter's first birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, it's a pirates and princesses theme.
You said, yeah.
Which was my excuse to make it pirate themed.
Which one are you going as, mate?
Hang on. You can be a pirate and a princess, right?
I'm going. In all seriousness,
pirate.
I'm going. Of course, I'm going to dress as a pirate. But my wife ordered these pink eye patches, so I'll be wearing a pink eye patch with a pirate wig and a full pirate getup.
So
well done. Pictures for social, please.
Yeah.
Well, to round up on that note,
now everyone knows our weekend.
After it's happened, because this will go out after.
Yeah.
Just take a chance to check out those videos that we put up on YouTube if you haven't seen them. Get to see visually what we're talking about, what we have been talking about here through the podcast, and tune in on our next podcast. And just to remind everyone, #Tavern Talk if you want to get your questions seen on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook or
the forums. Or wherever, really.
Yeah. Or
message
a
in
Reddit.
a bottle.
Yeah, message in a bottle.
We're landlocked, but...
And yeah, you can also check the video for the podcast will go up on YouTube, and it will be in 4K. Go up on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, all the Ks.
Makeup next time.
And
Do you support ultra widescreen mode? And what's your FOV slider?
we don't support that currently, but we are taking community feedback.
Awesome.
Yeah. People watching in 21:9 get to see the pirate slide just at a shot. We're going to go ride it in a second. It's amazing.
Yes, and it will be available on all reputable podcast apps and websites.
iTunes, SoundCloud, etc.
Yep. I'd just like to thank everybody here for joining us on the podcast, and thank you everybody for watching and listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.